What is going on? I'm Zedmont. Lots of things to discuss today, and some of them are going to be controversial, so do buckle up. Give me some comments. Let me know if I think I'm stupid or we're barking up the wrong tree. Regardless, code Zedmont in that shop, and do check the Black Friday deal, because 30 days for an extra builder, that's pretty cheap if you like the extra builder. Obviously, people are going to have different opinions on that, but for me, one builder is plenty for where I'm at. XP 77. Warships, I have made it to 18, and the biggest accomplishment of that is to make it to 18 without Rudy. That was pretty darn difficult. I had to get some lucky matches, and I'll show you some replays from that in a second. But first, I wanted to talk about the troops that every single season cause some division in the Boom Beach crowd. That is the Seekers and the Heavy Choppas. They've done things like try to put the Heavy Choppas between negative nodes. They've put the Heavies towards the end of the season. Now, what if they were to do something like this? Add a tech level requirement so that you can get there, but you gotta backfill a little bit to unlock them. They have done this, obviously, on things like engine rooms. There are some tech level requirements to get to specific engine rooms, but they've never done it on troops. Now, obviously, they would have to choose that tech level fairly carefully. They've shown that they did a pretty good job of that in the past, but would love to hear your thoughts on adding a tech level to some troops on some seasons. This shouldn't be every season. Just wondering what you guys think about the idea of doing that once in a while. I think these are the things that go through my head, trying to figure out ways to make the tech tree better without them coming in and nerfing Seekers. Because obviously if we get 10 Seekers in a boat in future seasons, they will be ridiculously overpowered. That's why I specifically photoshopped the tech requirement onto Seekers. Now, before we go any further, again, let's jump back to the Cyber Trader. Now, today is Thursday, Halloween, Thanksgiving in the US, which means Black Friday is tomorrow, and the Cyber Trader has come on Cyber Monday at least once, and I believe also came on Boxing Day. For those of you who don't do the cyber things or the Black Friday. I'm so sick of Black Friday. How did Black Friday become 3 weeks? Anyways, really hope the Cyber Trader does come back on Monday, or if not Monday, then Friday, because those, and by the way, these trades were from the original Cyber Trader. The Cyber Trader has been nerfed, but as a max level player who has 1,800 trader tickets, the idea of trading those in 3 at a time, gross. So maybe they need to add an option to trade them 30 at a time or 300 at a time. That is another suggestion that I have. Just give us the option to trade these puppies 30 at a time, because 3 at a time, I'm basically never going to do it. And yes, I know that's on me and not everyone is like that, but just frustrating. And by the way, I noticed something a little bit stupid yesterday that I didn't clue into about the engraver, and that is that I originally thought that you could only get insulation from red shards, for example. I then got insulation from a blue shard, and this is very obvious, but I didn't notice. And you have an increased chance of getting it with red shards. You can get insulation with blue shards. You can get adrenaline with green shards. So wanted to point that out, even though that's probably pretty darn obvious to many of you. Now, jumping into a replay, this is how I am attacking 4 engine rooms since moving to that 30% troop damage boost. This is pretty much the standard hit, flaring a defense back in that direction, and then having your troops. I hate the fact that these guys go over there, but that's why this turret comes in down the bottom. And one more reminder that turrets have a range of 8.2 tiles, so I could have thrown it even further away, and the point is you don't want them to shoot the machine gun. You want them to focus on that engine room as early and often as you can, and then just watching all of the troops attack all of the engine rooms at one time. And this attack is against Donko D0NK0. Not to be confused with his alt, which is D1NK1, which cracks me up. But great player, managed to pick up the win. It is not an auto win against 4 engine room players. 4 engine room players are very, very competitive on time because almost all of them have Rudy, Tooty, Fresh, and Fruity. Now, I went and unlocked the Doom Cannon thinking I could be clever, and I had hidden it down in here because I ended up losing a couple times because I wasn't scouting fast enough, and then I just moved it underneath the Sky Shield. Now, is that the right place for it? Probably not. Maybe this is a little bit smarter, but I'm lazy when it comes to building bases, and just plugging things into what I already have is the way that I like to play until I lose a whole bunch. And then, next up on the agenda is going and getting that building health. Lots and lots of players with critter launchers at the second. I've got 2 chests available. That's going to give me 40 keys, which is going to put me at... Oof, let's do some math here. We're not going to have enough for that building health. So that's going to be 5 o'clock my time, 4 o'clock my time. Artillery, very appealing. Probably should have gone that route, but Doom Cannon, I just impulse purchased it because I think it was like 26 keys and I had 28 keys. Okay, so my screen cut out for whatever reason, so I'm going to show you a replay here, and this was one of the hits that is way, way weirder and way different than I would have thought it would be. So this is 6 riflemen and 2 boats of rocket choppas getting a 3-minute 10-second time, and it is all about those turrets at the back getting that left-hand engine room. So we've got a split with rifles going right, rifles going left, and then rocket choppas and rifles going up the middle. And you have to be so precise on where you drop those back turrets. But look at that. I would have never guessed that 6 boats of riflemen of clone rifles could get a time that fast. And during that little replay, I have unlocked the critter launchers, fallen out of 18, and here we are. So I have copied this base off Veridian. I'm not sure how to pronounce his game name, but regardless, we're going to give it a go. It seems very, very weird. This back right corner seems like it is ripe for the picking by turrets, but one other quick note is that critter launchers do have a blind spot. Make darn sure if you're going to throw a turret onto a critter launcher, you throw it in the blind spot. Otherwise, you're just slowing yourself down. We're going to give it a go. I'm going to try to do a basic hit. I have not done well this morning, not warmed up. Definitely rocket choppas, and especially as bases start to change and compensate, just struggles on the struggle bus in a big way. But and also I want to show you an operation attack at the end of this because it went way better than I expected it to, and it's one that I suck at. Spoiler alert, it's Titanic, and I almost never attack Titanic. So we are gonna do a... Should we try that? I kind of want to try that attack I just showed you, just because it feels like we should be fairly quick going up that right-hand side. Let's just do that. Forget it. We're going to try this, and important bits here. Rifles in front of boom cannons, that should be fairly obvious, and then rocket choppas in behind them, and then you guys over there, and I'm just gonna go 1, 2, 3 back there. The boom cannon is going to be a problem, most definitely. Now, you can get away with this with a boom cannon handy, you just gotta keep going. And we are sending all of our troops up that right-hand side. Don't have to worry about anything at all except for our troops going up that right-hand side. And now just dropping these guys bit by stinking little bit on that back left corner. Probably should have dropped them down that bottom right-hand corner, but nonetheless, we are just cruising into here, dropping all of our troops, and did I absolutely screw that up? I sure frickin' did. So we would have had a 3-minute 6, but instead we're gonna have a very slow time. So there was your error, dropping the turrets in the exact wrong location and failing in a giant way as a result. just absolutely gross. So I told you guys that they have a range of 8 tiles. Clearly we are just outside that 8. We have bumped them up into 18. Man, just so poorly placed, and that kind of sums up my morning. But again, just showing you don't have to be super fancy with rocket choppas. That a time would have been enough to win, I think, if I would have dropped my stupid deployable turrets in the right spot. You know what, let's take a quick little break. So, gonna take a break for an operation attack. This is a fairly standard Titanic, except there's a big, huge gap there. These rocket launchers don't range, and so if you can guess what the heck I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be very, very impressed. That artillery right there should be your biggest clue. Notice that I dropped a couple flags to the right to get those sniper towers to shoot Zookas, and then my Everspark flag is way, way left, and then trying the ridiculous here. So flaring in by that shock launcher, Everspark clears the mines, Everspark hacks and then stays alive, and then heading to this back section. I love the Houdini hacks. And then right here, I do not time things well. I drop an artillery on this flamethrower right about there, and then just before it lands, I click the hack button, so we end up hacking the wrong defense, sadly, but thankfully I caught that with that shock, and now just clearing all of the things. This is old school. This is how operations used to be done, coming in and doing a free clear, and then managing to pick up the most unlikely of solos. This machine gun was threatening to ruin it, but thankfully I managed to get one artillery on it, and now our troops are just hanging in there, shooting through and outranging that rocket launcher. So very, very fun solo on dead end. You know what? I'm going to end the video right there, simply because I need to get warmed up on these rocket choppas. Showed you a couple different hits, and I know that most players are doing one boat of clone rifles, but do consider experimenting with some different troop combos. There's a lot of different troop combos that are working quite well on warships, and if you don't have Rudy, you have to be very, very creative and or push forward for that building health. Anyways, that is it for me. Keep your submarine diver diving, keep your engraver engraving, keep your sculptor sculpting, and I shall talk to you soon. Hopefully you guys are in a turkey coma by now, if that is your jam. Otherwise, I shall talk to you soon. Thanks for coming in. I'm Zed Mott. Black Friday's almost over. Thanks for coming in. Peace.